Hey guys, welcome in. If you're new or just passing through to my channel, welcome. My name is Tam. I'm also known as the Enlightened Auntie. If you're returning, welcome back, squad. I'm here today to do another general collective reading. This is take 3. If you're new here, you may want to go back into my archives because my readings do reach out into the future just a little bit. But remember, we are gender fluid here. We are not sign specific. I may say you and I'm talking to them, may say them, I'm talking to you. Put yourself in the story wherever you seem to fit. Remember that time and energy are fluid. So I could be talking about the past, present, or the future. Take only the parts that resonate. Leave everything else behind. If you want a personal reading, more aligned with your own story, all my information is below in the description box, and I invite you to join me for a session. Welcome in, guys. I hope everybody is doing good. Child, this is take 3. I'll just say it one more time. I can't wait for Mercury retrograde to be over. I cannot wait. All right. I do have a download that I got about 3 o'clock this morning, but I realized that when I lead the reading with that energy and information, it also shows up in the cards. So I'm going to toss cards first, and then I will explain the download to you afterwards. If it comes up in the cards, we'll talk about it in the cards and I'll mention it. But I don't want to like cloud the energy with that conversation just yet. All right. So let's tap in, see what Spirit wants to talk about today. What's going on in the collective? Happy Friday, y'all. All right. Let's get into it. Oh, snap. Collective. Again, we're going back. I'm using a whole different deck, but yesterday we talked about somebody being like highly tapped in. Maybe you out here again today, highly tapped in. I definitely get this energy of like floating between worlds. I don't even know. I get this sense of floating between worlds. You are highly intuitive, whoever I'm talking about. You may, have some religious background, but you're definitely way more spiritual than you are religious. You know a lot more than what you let on. And I also get the impression too that this energy for you, if you're intuitive, you may have been this way your whole life. Your whole life. I see in the recent past, you may have released connections to toxic individuals, environments, or relationships. You've really worked hard to ground yourself, to focus on your own healing, to focus on the things that you value, things that, make you feel whole and complete. Love it. Love it. Okay, here we go. In the near future, I definitely see where you make a decision to maybe stop moving forward with a situation. I feel like maybe there, between you and another person, maybe you don't see eye to eye. And for that reason, you can't move forward. But I think you've made a decision to no longer continue moving forward with a particular situation or relationship or person. Okay. What's in the environment? Overarching energy. This is an interesting energy. Okay, so I can see why you've made this decision to not move forward, because it feels very much like, one, I think what you're investing your time in, or what, I don't know, this kind of feels like what you've been investing your time in, or what, I don't think you find any value in the things that have been calling, like trying to get your attention, or I don't know. This is interesting. I just heard you don't need to do it. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do it. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. It was really loud too. And the card that I'm looking at that's got my attention that you don't need to do is the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. It feels very much like it would be a bad investment of your time and energy to participate in whatever this is. Because number one, I can clearly see there's something being hidden from you. There's something being hidden from you. And your intuition is really tugging on you right now. Your intuition is tugging on you, and there's something here in your energy that, and it's tugging you that you need to let it go. Okay. What's in the background? Underlying energy in the background. Unknowns. Okay, crazy. Yeah. Okay. So I am gonna have to tell you about the download that I got, and it came to me like 3 o'clock this morning. And I'm saying it because I see it here in the cards, so I know it just ain't for me. You may have jumped into something prematurely, agreed to do something prematurely. And I feel like whatever this situation is, it may have caused you a little bit of turmoil in terms of, because I kind of get the impression that there were some mind games. It feels like mind games. Maybe it was mind games that you played with yourself. But I think it had a lot to do with maybe this investment of your time and energy. It feels very troublesome. And I also don't get the impression that you were very, it feels weird because it's kind of like something's presented to you, you agree to do it, you jump in, but you're not all in. Like, I don't get the impression that you're all in. I don't feel that. And you may not be all in because your intuition is kind of screaming at you that maybe this ain't it. And so down here in the background, you're really having to reflect on what is it that you really, what is it that you really want? Where is it that, because again, remember, while we were in this Venus retrograde energy, we were really looking at some of the relationships and things that we do, that we value, that we find value in. Now, Venus is now, it's no longer in Aries, and now it's in Pisces. I feel like this is really about like what you feel, what your gut is telling you about this situation. And I feel like if there's something here that's troubling you, it's time for, because the answers, you don't need to seek the answers outside of yourself. You will know, especially if you're this intuitive and you've always been this way. You've always been this way. You've always been this way. And I think what you're looking at, or what you're analyzing, is it's like the investment of time and energy into whatever this is that you jumped into. It doesn't seem to be, it's not really giving anything back to you per se. What are your fears and concerns? You are worried that something's being kept from you. Whatever this thing that's been offered, you're worried about. There's something, you may feel as though there's something in the offer that's a little bit nefarious, or something that's being hidden or hasn't been made completely transparent to you. Are you gaslighting your own intuition? This feels like you're gaslighting your own intuition. Don't do that. That's part of your blockage. Whoop, whoop. What you need to release. You need to walk away from anything that is not okay. I love what I do. You need to release anything that is not like a key component to your overall goals. If there is something in your life right now that, because it kind of feels like I could go a number of different ways on this, because this feels like doing something for appearances. It was a lot. I also feel like whatever this situation is, I don't think it's not something. Oh, your intuition is screaming at you. I don't think whatever this thing that has been offered to you, it's not something that's going to lead into any type of real like financial stability gain or goals or anything like that, right? So if, and I'm not even saying that what has been offered to you is meant to like, make you rich or ball out and all that other stuff. However, I also don't see anything in the end result as it being something that is beneficial to you. So if you don't find any actual value in it, what you need to release is the situation, whether it's a relationship or a situation, an offer, an opportunity, like you need to walk away from it. What's the lesson? Yes. So what did I say? So the lesson, literally, it kind of feels like walking away from things that feel very lopsided, one-sided. Especially if you are, if it requires you to put in a whole bunch of effort, time, resources, whatever it is, right? Because whatever, it doesn't feel very balanced. Whatever this is, it doesn't feel balanced. It doesn't feel like it's going to elevate your status. It doesn't feel like anything that's going to, this doesn't feel like anything that's positive for you. This all feels like it's something that benefits somebody else. So if it doesn't have any value and benefit to you, part of your lesson here was like, if you're trying to bring about change, right? Let's talk about it, because these are these things that come up. This is a new one for me with this Mercury retrograde, because honestly, I don't normally accept offers, entertain them, the ones that come in during Mercury retrograde. I normally don't. An offer came to me right at the onset of Mercury retrograde, and I agreed to it, but I was very like half in, half out. It, like, I tried to follow along and like, yeah, okay, sounds great, but something kept pulling on me. So I'm going to tell you about my download. Let me finish with this. Because part of your lesson here really is like, I want you to keep, I don't honestly feel like this offer is something that is going to create any real change in your life. And if it ain't part of your goals, your overall goals, it's best that you just walk away. Listen to your intuition if that's what it's telling you, okay? Take 4. Thank you. Yes. 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 And it may result in somebody being really unhappy with your decision, but you're best on your own. Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever has been offered to you, you're best on your own. Okay, so let me tell you about this download, because evidently it's showing up here in the cards. So it woke me up at about 3 o'clock this morning, and what I was feeling is the energy, or what the messaging was for me. It was like, when you feel something inside, like, I noticed that I was having physical reactions to certain things, and I couldn't put my finger on why it was happening. I mean, I've had it happen a couple of times, and I think those times I very much dismissed my own intuition. I was gaslighting the hell out of myself. Um, I felt something and continue to roll with it, because I was like, not like I thought it was expected of me, but I was like trying to, I'm working, I say it often, I'm working through trust issues. So I'm trying to like be amicable and go with the flow, right? But I kept feeling this thing, and I couldn't let it go. Like, I couldn't put my finger on exactly what the problem was, but I knew something. I could feel something being slightly off-putting, and I couldn't let go of that feeling. It just was kind of hovering over me. And every single time I would get some communication, it would cause me to have a physical reaction. And literally the download that I was getting this morning was like, that physical reaction is your intuition telling you, if you feel some kind of way about it, if you're second guessing, if there's any part of you that's second guessing just a little bit about whatever this thing is that you're not fully committed to, that's your intuition telling you to leave it alone and let it go and walk away. Okay? If I ain't learned nothing else in my lifetime, I am learning now to trust my intuition. Okay? There is something here that is in your life. It is not necessarily destined for you to be a part of it or to deal with it. You may be kind of, on the fence simply because you may have agreed to do something, but now you're like, and you may not necessarily know how to like break it down to somebody and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I know I said I would, but I can't. One, I don't think that you need to be in a space of having to explain why you feel the way you feel. Like, there's no explanation for your intuition when your gut is screaming at you. Please walk away. Do not get enticed by something that appears to be shiny and pretty and glittery, and there's still some things that are really shrouded in mystery. If it feels off, it is off. Listen to your intuition. Trust your intuition, okay? All right, let's clarify. Actually, no, I'm not going to use this deck yet. Let's clarify. Let's use this deck. Let's clarify. And when I tell you that energy, that download and the energy, I had so much stuff going on in my head between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock this morning. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I just kept praying to myself, just please. I didn't want to get up and like turn lights on and grab my phone and all that stuff. But I was like praying that I could remember enough of the download so that I could talk about it today, because that's a thing. And I know I'm not the only person that's going through it. So if you feel like something's on offer and you're not 100% in, it's not something that, listen to your intuition, because I see it out here. It's screaming at you. It's screaming at you. It's trying to get your attention. Okay? All right. Let's clarify. this feels very much like overcoming something that would have, I don't know, ended in some type of misfortune or something that's not faded. This isn't part of, I don't know. I think this the energy, the main energy that I'm getting, it's kind of like you successfully overcome an internal conflict and you avoid some type of misfortune simply by just embracing your intuition. Yeah. See something hidden that would eventually create some type of see, this is you like jumping into it without thinking, agreeing to something, but it doesn't really, I don't know, again, it doesn't really have the legs. I heard it doesn't really have the legs to sustain. I also get the impression here too that there's no real basis for the foundation of the dynamic or the relationship or whatever this is. um you may have also been really struggling at some point to like kind of balance it all. If you got a lot going on, like I have actually been talking about it. Some of you have a bunch of irons in the fire right now. You might have agreed inadvertently, like you jumped into it. You may have agreed to do something, but now the reality is set in, like you got way more things up in the air, and you're not able to really juggle it all. And then and then one of the things that you're juggling is not even something that you're like all that into. You're not into it like that. I love it. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I also feel like if this is you, like maybe we're not even talking about it too far back in the past. Like I remember when I originally said, I'm like, maybe you've released like, toxic patterns, toxic behaviors. This almost feels like maybe you potentially could have been like, I heard, lured into something, or, like you, whatever the offer was, it might have been really enticing. But I'm also seeing here where you're having some type of revelation after some deep thought. You may be having some type of revelation that makes you realize where to put the focus, where to apply the pressure, what you value versus what you don't really, because I see it, you're not all that, you're not all that into it, or you're not committed to it. Ooh. Yeah, it's kind of like somebody, I don't know, this energy feels like somebody trying to like promise you something that's going to make you really happy, right? But you're not into it. Like you don't like you're, I don't know, like maybe you jumped into it and you kind of, I heard, avoided your, like not like avoided. This isn't avoidance. Maybe you, like I said, you gaslight your own intuition. You maybe just kind of, you got the nudge but you didn't pay attention to it. And now after some reflection, you're having to like really come clean and say, tell somebody how you feel, or at least express like how it makes you feel or what this is. Um, no, this is interesting. Maybe it took you some time. Maybe this is, I mean, I don't mean like a lot of time, but maybe you spent some time like really contemplating how you feel. And it goes right back to, do you love this thing? Do you love it? Because if you don't, that's your answer. Like, if you don't absolutely love this thing, that's your answer. Yeah, see, I said you were worried about something being kept and hidden from you. It's kind of like you worried about, part of you is worried about things that are being kept from you. And I also kind of feel like, one, you've already healed. So if you're kind of worried about, I don't know why I'm, this energy kind of goes, they go together. There's a concern here about, has something to do with your healing or the amount of healing, the work that you've done. I'm going to clarify that. You worried about, it's kind of like worrying about the decision that you made to do this, whatever this is. You're worried that it's going to affect some of the work that you've done on yourself. I'm not really sure how, but we'll tap into that. Yep, part of the part of the blockage and obstacle, child. I said you weren't listening. You need to listen to your intuition, but part of the obstacle is, I think, again, because you're not committed to this situation, you can't move forward because you're not committed to it. You're just not that into it. Yes, and what you need to release is the energy that you keep trying to persevere and make it work when you know that this isn't it and you need to end it. Okay. What's the lesson? Oh, I love this. Trust your own magic. Part of the lesson here is, you don't need to give anything of yourself to anything, to something or an environment or an opportunity or a situation that you are not committed to. You're not committed to it. You don't actually see anything happening with it. You have everything. Okay. You have everything that you need in order to create the life that you want. You do not have to invest your time and energy into this situation thinking that your investment of time with this particular person, energy, opportunity, job, whatever this is, you have the capability to do whatever it is that you need to do on your own. You don't need this opportunity to springboard you to something else. Does that make sense? You have the capability to create your own destined change. You don't need this. Yes. Okay. This is interesting because remember I said like part of your, because here goes the devil and the Queen of Pentacles. I have the devil and the Queen of Pentacles down here. Um, but this almost feels like it would have been taking you completely. You would have stayed being conflicted by putting your effort and energy into something that again is not in alignment for you. This is not an alignment for you. I kind of also feel like if you continue forward with it, you're going to be the one that's feeling conflicted. And what it does is it's going to, by being connected to it, it has you, it would have you focusing on something that you don't actually find, it's not valuable to you. It's not, it's, it's not in alignment. It has no value to you. So it feels conflicting to engage in it or to be working on it or be working with this person or whatever this is. Mm. And it also gives me the impression that the more you focus on it, it kind of, again, it takes your focus away from the things that you do need to focus on, the things that you do value, the things that you do, like your own work or whatever. Child, don't do this, whatever it is. Don't do it. Yeah, and it's time for you to also speak out. Like, just speak out, speak clearly, use your voice. Yeah, I honestly feel like it's kind of like going within and really thinking about what it is that you want. And if this is not matching, if it's not matching the intentions of your heart, then don't do it. Yes. So the reality of it, something here, it kind of feels like whatever this situation is or whatever you may have, initially agreed to do, it may be, or you may feel like it's causing complications in your life, especially if you're having a difficult time trying to manage it all, or like, you've, like I said, you've got a bunch of different irons in the fire and you're trying to, appropriately dedicate time to each one of, the things that you're focusing on. But it feels like with the addition of this thing, yeah, and you're healing. The thing about it is you've done the work, you're doing the work. I feel like the focus that you spent on this thing has just complicated your life. Yeah, so even if somebody were to approach you, I feel like this is you. This is your energy here. You have the gift. You're the gift. This could even be a download, like some kind of a message, a downloaded message that there's no actual stability in this. Interesting. I think these cards fell out in the same spot yesterday. I feel like you're very I feel like you're fiercely trying to protect what's yours, or protect, like, not just protect what's yours, but protect your family, protect your children, protect the energy environment of your home. Yeah, I feel like you should just continue focusing on whatever it is that you're focusing on, like the stuff that you're already doing, whatever you already have going on, because I see you're working towards this abundance. I see you working towards abundance. Keep following your beliefs. Yeah, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing about you, collective. Even though this situation may have complicated your life, you may had it in your mind that you had the ability to persevere because, I mean, you've already been through so much, right? But everything in your heart is telling you like you're not into it like that. You're just not into it like that. You're not into it like that. Now, I'm thinking about this right now. If you continue to focus, because I think this is you really thinking about, okay, you got all these irons in the fire, you're investing your time and energy in all these different places, right? But you may not even have enough time or energy to invest in anything additional. Again, like I said, you have a full plate already. You have a full plate. See, this talks about a lack of stability, and this talks about kind of being in your head about whether or not to walk away from it, to communicate how you feel. Interesting. I just heard my mind's on my money and my money's on my mind. You might also be trying to make sense of it, like where does it benefit you? Because honestly, we're not doing anything for free. So it's kind of like, how does this benefit me? Like financially in the long run. How does this benefit me financially in the long run? Yes, and part of your fears, yeah. Look, part of your fears is it does stem from having, like, you don't want to relive going back into certain cycles that you've already been in because you've learned the lesson. I do see where you're worried about that. I'm worried about that too. I see that. Okay, okay. I'm telling you, there's something funky in Denmark. And what you don't see is that there's no protection. I do feel like there's something being hidden here. There's something being hidden. Either you're not protected from it, or if you engage, that you won't have. I mean, you're going to be protected anyway. I don't know. I just heard a false sense of security. Baby, pay attention. Yes. So your intuition is screaming. Child, I said it. Your intuition is screaming at you that this, like to stop. Whatever this is, stop. Intuition and death. Literally, stop. Whatever this is, stop doing it. Ooh. Yes. And part of the lesson here, I kind of feel like it's to identify something that's that like a toxic pattern or something that you're, yes. So part of this lesson here, I feel like I said, you're the magician, right? You're the magician. You already have the ability to create the changes that you want to see in your life. And I feel like one of the biggest lessons here is that illuminate is in the reverse, toxic is in the reverse. When they're in the upright, it's like being able to see the toxic environments, toxic situations, the toxic people. Part of your lesson is like really listening to your intuition, listening to your intuition, listening to your gut. I have 500 million questions and there were no real viable answers. I've done my research. I did all my, did my due diligence or whatever. And I still had I have questions, but I also feel like the answers that I would be getting, it would be just enough to like blow enough smoke up my ass to make me feel like a chimney. You know what I mean? I feel like all of this is the biggest lesson here was for you to trust your intuition about the people and the situations that come to you. Yes, listen to your intuition. You got more wisdom in you than you think you do. Bottom of the deck, release. Ciao. That's all I needed to see. That's all I needed to see. I'm gonna leave it there, guys. Actually, no. Let's see. I done moved my decks around on my desk, and now I don't know where they are. Okay, let's use this one. Oh God, my husband just was introduced to Temu. He just sent me a text and said, "Oh my God, I've never logged into Temu before." Oh God, help that man. I've gotten past my Temu addiction. I gotta save him. Oh my God, I gotta save him. That's so funny. Save yourself, honey. Save yourself. You're stepping into a leadership role, inspiring others and guiding your team towards success with confidence and clarity. Love to see it. Love to hear it. Empathy. You deeply empathize in your relationships, understanding others' feelings, which strengthens your bonds and fosters harmony. Tension and misunderstanding is causing disharmony in your relationships or in a relationship, leading to stress and conflict. You're working to repair a relationship that was once fractured. Past hurts are healing, and reconciliation brings hope. Strong attraction bonds you to another person. The connection is both emotional, physical, drawing you closer. Don't know what that has to do with this. Your beliefs may be wavering, or you're struggling to hold on to your faith on something important, leading to confusion. And finally, you may be overlooking valuable opportunities or hesitating in seizing them, leading to missed chances for growth. Your health may be at risk, and neglecting self-care could lead to burnout or physical ailments. So pay attention to that. Damn. Now, that never normally happens, but all these cards flip, so I'm going to take them. The first card out is deception. False illusions, scarcity mentality, falling into bad habits. Realignment, shift your perspective for a gained sense of clarity. Denial, failure to accept situation or unhealthy cycles or addictions. Sacrifice, giving up something now for a future reward. That's this down here. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. If any parts of this reading resonated for you, gave you clarity or confirmation of your own situation, give the video a thumbs up so we can circulate into the algorithm. If you'd like to book a personal more line with your own story, all of my information is below in the description box. My books are always open. I invite you to join me for a session. All right, guys, I love you. I will be back. I've got some time getting back into the grind of what I do. And yeah, so I'll be back a little bit later. All right, take care. Till next time. Bye.